Good afternoon and welcome to the Indie Author Show. I'm your host, Sue Miller, and we are fortnightly on Kellen FM from 12 to 1 on Wednesdays. So our last show had guest Tracy Goff and her book about my dementia journey. Lovely book, and I hope that you've had a chance to listen again to that interview. If you haven't, it is on my website, which is www.teamauthoruk.co.uk. But today it's all about Chrysoula. And Chrysoula, welcome to the show. We're going to be talking about your book of soulful musings. And so, Chrysoula, if you want to just give me kind of just a snippet before we go to our first track, just tell me a little bit about the book and where it came from, the idea.
Thank you so much, Sue, for having me.
Yes, welcome.
It's an exciting time in my life, but also exciting time for many other people who have said yes to being part of this book, the Book of Soulful Musings, enlightening insights, tools and guidance from life-inspiring conversations.
Right. Now, you have been on the radio for a lot longer than me, so I feel a little bit intimidated because we have changed spots. When you came in to the studio today, you just automatically went to the
Yeah,
it was funny. But how long have you had a show on Redshift Radio?
Since 2010.
2010, wow.
So it's almost 8 years.
And I've had my show, the Indie Author Show, on Kellen FM for about a year. So I'm still learning, but
it's all about speaking from the heart.
it is. And that's what I try to do with my guests. We tend to just, because it's the Indie Author Show, we're talking about self-published authors, independent authors, and their journey and how they have become published. So I know you haven't published yet, but you're very, very close. Work with Chrysoula on the Indie Author Show, and her upcoming book is called Soulful Musings, and you are the Golden Muse, aren't you? So,
well, I like to believe that.
Yes. I love how you spell your name. Somebody mentioned this to you, that there's the word soul is in the middle of your name, and so you now put that part in capitals.
Yes.
Don't you? Yeah. So
Chrysoula with a soul in it.
Yeah, with a soul in it.
After 40 plus decades or something like that, never realized until somebody said to me, "Oh, by the way, did you know that your name's got the word soul in it?"
Oh,
and then I turned around and said, "Yeah, actually, absolutely right."
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I guess you're just so used to it, you don't even think of it. But yeah, I love that about you. So whenever I see anything from you, you've always spelt it that way with SOUL in capitals.
It's all about consistency, isn't it?
Yeah.
As well.
So you told us that you have your own radio show. What's it called?
It's called The Health and Healing Life-Inspiring Conversations with Chrysoula Sirigu, the Golden Muse.
Yes, and that's Thursdays on Redshift Radio.
Thursdays, 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock.
Okay, 2 hours.
Wow. The live broadcasting, and then there's a listen again feature on Saturday afternoons, 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock, and then Monday mornings as well. So if you miss it, then you can have a chance to catch up with it. Okay.
And so you've, over the 8 years, obviously you've had some really inspiring guests, and that's helped you to come up with this idea of doing this book, isn't it? So as well as your own video that you host through.
Yes, I also for the last 2 years and a half, I stepped up and I said, how could I embrace technology?
Yeah.
And then video is amazing because we can actually connect, live and feel and connect with one another. And then that's what I do on the Golden Muse show. I interview people, but actually there's a camera there. So both of us or a group of us are part of the show. And there's a wonderful exchange of insights, wisdom about different areas in holistic health and well-being, mindset, sort of growth and expansion. But particularly, I love what we can do to change our lives, to transform our lives in easy and sustainable ways. And that's what prompted me and inspired me to say all of these wonderful conversations I had with all these amazing people over the last 8 years.
Yes.
How could I actually add more value to it and then bring it out there to the world. So for others to be inspired and take on I call it a self-care toolkit, where you could actually have the book by your side table, if you like, or somewhere near to you. And then you can say, okay, let me just read about something I haven't heard before.
Right.
Or something that potentially it would be like an aha moment. And you say, oh, wow, I never thought of it like that.
And different things affect you at different times of your
course they
life,
do.
don't they?
Yes.
So you may have that book, your book, and you know, you skip through something that isn't relevant to you at that point in your life. Then you go back a year later and all of a sudden it's relevant. So that, I love books like this. I really do.
It is a book, I like to call it a timeless keepsake.
Yes.
It's not a book that you read once and you say, oh,
Yeah.
that was great, I read the book, really nice book, but back on my
Yeah.
bookcase kind of thing. I
Yeah.
like this book to be there, okay, how can I use it in a practical, sustainable way to enhance my life as a mother, as a teacher, as an educator, but also enhance my children's lives or other people's lives as well.
Yeah. And do you have any idea how many chapters there will be? How many? Yeah, I know you're still working on that a little bit, but is it,
Yeah,
you know,
well,
is it
there's at the moment there's 10 chapters.
10,
It
okay.
could be 12, but I just
so between 10 and 12 is what
yeah.
we're looking at, yeah. And I know we were chatting about that there will be a poem, there will be sort of a quote that's relevant to that chapter. So it'll be,
Yes.
and lots of color. Because
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
tell us a little bit. Yeah,
It has to be in color.
Yes, because you're
When
also.
people said to me, it's too expensive to have in color, I said, well, folks, if that's the case, I'm going to just give up the whole project altogether.
Yeah.
It has to be in color.
Because you're a color therapist as well.
Yes,
So
yes.
I've been over to your studio with all those beautiful colors and
Color
yeah,
bottles.
Yeah, the color bottles.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got pictures on your website, don't you, of that?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of angles that you're coming at with this book. We were just you know, there's things. It's still in its prep stage, really, but we're looking at a crowdfunding campaign to help you raise some funds to publish it so that you can make it the best book that it can be.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That-
Well, it
that's
will
very
be
important.
professionally designed, edited, and published.
Yeah, so,
at
and
the
that
top
costs money.
quality.
Yeah, you
it
know,
does.
and
It
top-
does. But it's how you could actually say, okay, I like to connect with the messages. You know, when somebody picks up the book, say, how could I feel connected with the message, but the text, but also with the image?
Yeah.
Because the two together, they're truly powerful. Connecting with colors, connecting with poems, an introductory page coming from me, sort of as part of my personal golden keys to my own evolutionary journey, because we're all going through that. So I was inspired to talk about that particular chapter, and then I invited other people to contribute in
Right.
that as well.
Cool. I'm very excited about this.
Yes.
It's all, you know, it's been difficult to kind of see because it's all in your head, but it's now starting to come out, you know,
Well,
and it's starting to.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot have happened over the last couple of months,
Mm-hmm.
because now we've got a number of transcripts already done. So basically, once the interview is recorded and we upload on SoundCloud, that's for the radio one, or we upload it on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. By
Yes.
the way, go ahead and subscribe, because
Yes.
there's lots of yummy conversations there.
And tell us what your YouTube channel is.
It's Chrysula Sirigu.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
just your name. Okay.
Yeah, it's my
Can
name.
you spell your surname for us?
Sirigu.
Okay. I know how to spell it, but I just thought we should just, because you do have, you know, I have the accent, you have the accent, so I just want to make sure for our listeners that they could find
I
you.
do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Okay. You brought in a book today because sometimes I know you've been kind of trying to get some pre-promotion about what you're doing and getting people involved and so on, and we've been chatting about how sometimes that's difficult because, and I loved what you
Convey the
said.
yes.
In that we're in a noisy world, and you know, I've always said that there's so much digital chatter is what I call it, digital chatter,
Absolutely.
because there's so much social media going on, and people are going in networking, and people are going to this event and that event, and you know, it's really hard to kind of get people to focus, and so this is, and yet people need this type of book, because when they are at home and they're tired and they're struggling with that digital chatter, that noisy world, and their families and everything that they're expected to be and do, they need to look to a book like what you're creating. So I'm really proud personally to be helping you to make this happen, because I can see your vision. So I want to reassure you that I can see this.
Thank you.
And we're now getting closer where I think it's all going to start come together. So, just have the faith. But one book you brought into me, I absolutely love Oprah Winfrey. I always have. I'm Canadian. And so, I kind of have been watching Oprah and her shows before I moved to this country. I watched her all the time. But so this book just came out. I was looking, you said you bought it in an airport somewhere?
Well, I was I was in Holland delivering Carlo Miro's training program as practitioner. And then I was, because I love books.
Yeah, me too.
So I just went into this bookstore at the airport.
Yeah.
And I saw Oprah Winfrey's book there. And I flicked through it and I said, could I actually do something like this?
So was this...
Am I giving myself permission to
was
create
this
something
somewhat
like this?
where the idea germinated?
I had already thought about, how could I maximize all these years being on the radio and creating my own shows? How could I actually bring these messages out there in a more concrete way? Because a book is a container.
Yeah.
Is there something that will stay forever, if you like? There's like also, it's a legacy. There's a lot going on that, I feel very much passionate about it. And when I saw this by Oprah, and I said, could I? And then I went ahead and I bought the book. And I said, actually, yes, I'm giving myself permission to go out there and make it happen. And then I spread the word. I spoke with, I came to your writer's retreat. We talked about it. I shared my vision, which also at the point was like a little bit muddled up, and everything. But then eventually, what I call, maybe you have heard of the term, follow the breadcrumbs. You just take one thing after the other.
Yeah, and I remember back to that writer's retreat that we had last November, and I think you came to a session with Jude Lennon and I where you just were talking out loud your thoughts, and after 30 minutes it all became much clearer to you, didn't you? And even on that weekend you created your cover. You knew what your cover was going to look like, and you knew what the book was going to be called.
Well, I did create my cover there and then, actually.
Yeah, you did, right
you were all surrounded by 20-something, 25 women all around, you sharing your own stories and messages through your books.
And you were sat there.
I was there
with your laptop,
creative flow.
No, I know. Sometimes I'm like that too. I just think, I'm really picking up on the energy in the room, and I need to do this, and I need to do it now. It's really been another special journey for you, and I think it's a very natural journey for you, because you're very much a communicator, a conversationalist. You're always wanting. You couldn't help be on the radio for 8 years and not be a good conversationalist, so this is just bringing those conversations from a digital method to the spoken word, or the written word, so anyways, back to this book about Oprah. I've just taken a photo of it, and I'm thinking, how do I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to share it with my kids and say, this is what I want for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is on the 11th of March. So it's called The Wisdom of Sundays and Life-Changing Insights and Inspirational Conversations by Oprah Winfrey. So this is kind of, we all have to start from a point and say, this is what inspires me. And it's not obviously going to be a copy, but this is what I want my book to do. This is what I want it to be like.
Well, there will be images, for example, in that book, Oprah's book, it's going to be images from where she's based, in her house.
Yes.
Well, the images I'm going to bring in the book is coming from my ancestors, from my motherland, from Greece. So there will be lots of beautiful pictures from my own trips and explorations, but also the retreats I organize in Greece. So there will be, the color and image is still going to be there, but it's going to be coming from different sort of space and giving inspiration. That's the most important thing.
Okay. We're looking at hopefully having this out by summertime. Is that what we're thinking?
We actually said mid-May.
Yes, however, I'm not so sure May is going to happen, but I would think it would be June.
Okay.
Yes, I think because we haven't started the crowdfunding campaign, but I shouldn't. I'm not going to be negative here. We'll just open
No,
it
the
up to the
crowdfunding campaign
universe.
starts this week,
Yes,
actually. Yes.
we shall open it up to the universe, and we shall see what happens. But there's a lot to this book. There's a lot. We've got to make sure your images are right, and I just know you're very much a perfectionist. So we'll just see how it goes. But May, June. When I say summer, I meant June, not July or August.
Yeah,
but
well,
let's say
the thing is,
May,
there's so
June.
much going on, and then after the summertime, so that's why. And I love the spring energy.
Yes.
It's really important to publish the book in spring energy.
Yeah.
That's why I feel May time, it would be great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get on it.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the Golden Muse side of you. Where did that come from?
Well, first of all, if you start with the word muse, M-U-S-E, and if you fancy looking up the word, it's about the goddesses in ancient Greece, that they were there to educate, to inspire and empower humans to bring their own sort of unique gifts out there. So I wanted to connect with my own sort of roots, because although I haven't lived in Greece for the last 25 years, I'm still very much connected with my motherland.
Right.
And I wanted to connect with that. But also, I've been a teacher for many years, so it's part of my own journey to educate others and
Yes.
help them to realize more of their own unique gifts.
And celebrate as
Celebrate,
well. Yeah.
of course. And the Greeks, we are all about celebration. The golden, is because my name, Chrysula, in Greek, means the golden lady.
Oh.
So I put the two together. And then
Yes.
if I bring the third element in, which is about the psychology of color gold, it's all about connecting with your solar plexus, which is all about your inner value and your authenticity.
Okay.
So how you can bring more of your own voice out there, speaking from that space. And that's what I love people to, when they read a book, how they can realize, have I actually fulfilled all my potential here? Have I actually connected with my true self? Or am I living somebody else's life? That's the different things that actually color can actually help you to dig deeper.
And I think because, as we said, we live in such a noisy world that it is sometimes hard to connect with yourself, isn't it? You really need to make time and space. I know when I met with you, part of the whole color therapy thing is to choose the right color that's right for you, which you go through a whole process. But you put it in a bath, and you take that liquid. And you put it in your bath. And you put it in your bath, and that forces you to relax. It forces you to,
in a good way. Yes.
Obviously, but it forces you to take that time for yourself.
Yeah. But through that immersion, if you like, where you are having this bath, it is a therapy.
Yeah.
It is something that you do because you don't consciously decide what you release or what you don't release. Because if you do that, then the brain, the mind gets in the way. But when you are in that bath, the color is actually, the energy of color does the work for you. And then releases any obstacles that are stagnated in our system, particularly in our cells, that we don't know. We haven't got any idea because we don't know with the conscious mind. So the color actually, what it does, penetrates your subconscious. And then at that point, you're releasing. And you have chosen the bottle you're working with.
Yes.
I am not prescribing here. Throughout the therapy session, when you come to my space, to my sanctuary of color, as I call it, we are going through the different steps, different questions. It is an analysis, but I am there to facilitate that for you. But then you're actually picking the bottle that is speaking to you, because it's called color mirrors, because the bottle mirrors back at you where you are, and the obstacles or the hidden areas that need to be healed.
Right.
And then in that way, you can actually move forward and bring more of your unique essence out there, and bring more of your own value out there, and of course make difference in the world, because that's what we're here. We're here to enjoy life, but also how we can inspire others to bring over their own unique essence out there.
Yeah.
And that's why I love creating, putting the book together, writing the book, because I would love to give that message out there to people, and I do that not only by myself, by so many other people, that you can hear probably the same thing from different people.
Yes.
And
Because
that's the
because
power of
like-minded
it.
people, they do gravitate to each other,
Yeah.
don't they? And you're all sort of sharing the same message. And when we come back after this track, I'm going to ask you about some of the contributors to this book so that we can just maybe help our listeners understand it a little bit more. And we need to talk about the crowdfunding campaign as well. And everything is kicking off tomorrow. On the 1st of March, which is a special day. It's World Book Day, which has always been important to you. You've
Yes,
always had a celebration on World Book Day, haven't you?
absolutely,
And then it's also St. David's Day here in
Yes,
Wales.
yes.
So it's a busy day, but it's also going to be where you're launching the whole idea about what you're doing. So what you were saying is, we've used Oprah Winfrey's book as kind of an idea, because if anybody has seen it or wants to have a look at it, that's the style that you're looking at. But it's not all the same content, because hers is more of a spiritual journey, but you are looking at a variety of things, kind of holistic.
Yes. it
So
is.
do you want to explain to me just a little
Sure.
bit more? Maybe give some examples.
Sure. Basically, over the last 10 years, part of my own evolutionary journey and part of what is happening in my own health actually prompted me and inspired me to look into how the mind, body, and spirit actually are interconnected, and how our emotions actually have a direct impact on our health. And how why depression kicks in, for example. Depression kicks in for a good reason, because
Yeah.
somehow your emotions are suppressed. Or it could be other issues in your body that you may have migraines, or you might have stomach aches, or you may have back aches, or whatever. So the body manifests all of that and says to you, by the way, help yourself out, take care of yourself, but don't do it like only based on medicine. But I believe, and all the people are coming on board and being part of the Book of Soulful Musics, they believe that there are other ways, that we don't have to rely only on medicines. There are other ways to support us, to empower us. And healing, that's the very important bit. So holistic is actually seeing yourself as being part of the whole. So you have your body. Yes, we've got this wonderful body, and we need to treasure it, we need to look after it. But also we've got our wonderful brain, mind, or our egos, that actually they're again,
They get in the way a lot too.
They do, yeah. But they're there to protect us. It's all about survival. And we have a wonderful, beautiful hearts that, that's where, we're here to really, when you connect with your heart, you can spread the message, and then, go connect with other people in a very authentic way. And then we also have our gut, which is another brain. We have 3 brains. We have the mind, we have the heart, and we have the gut. So when there are issues with your gut, then you may have heard of Hashimoto disease, or you may have heard of ME, or you may have heard of other things.
IBS.
Yes, there's so many other things. So in the book, there are a number of nutritionists coming on board. One of them is Sue Ritchie, and she's going to be also on World Book Day as one of the panelists. And she wrote the book, Love Your Gut. It is all about that, because it's her story about Hashimoto's and how she managed to heal herself through nutritional steps she took. And we've got Emma Guy, who's an acupuncturist, and then she's very much into Chinese philosophy, Chinese medicine, and how you can help yourself, unblock different energies in your body that actually create the back pain or the neck ache or whatever. We've got people that are very much involved. They are, heart intelligent, heart IQ, like myself, I'm a heart IQ coach, and then we have conversations about relationships, about couples, how we can actually have healthier relationships, more intimate relationships as a couple, but also with your children.
Right.
So then we're actually looking into children and conscious parenting. So that's another big chapter in the book.
So it's a book that gives you tips and things that you can actually do. So it's not sort of a philosophical type of book where, where you just think, oh, well, these are meditations or so on. They're actually things that you can do to help you feel better.
They're always in the book. There are actually steps or tools or tips
Right.
that you can actually say, how could I bring that into my everyday life in easy, sustainable ways? Because I believe that we all have the best intentions in the world, and we want to live a lovely, exciting, joyful life. But always, something else pops in, and that's a priority, and we never actually make it happen for ourselves. So if it's something that is you can easily bring into your life, then the high chances that it's going to stick with you. And you're going to start with it, and then you're going to commit to it, and you commit to your own self-care. So that's the principle behind the book. How I know there are lots of other books out there, but this is the message that comes from different people makes it even more powerful.
Yeah. It is very powerful because it's not just you telling people, it's not just your insight or your beliefs. You are bringing together, are they all women in this book?
No, they're actually, the majority, I've got to say, the majority are women, because we are naturally leaders.
Yes.
And we love to educate and help others naturally. We are givers.
Yes.
And there are a number of the featured contributors are women, but also we have men.
Okay.
And one of them is Rob Mitchell James, who is actually talking about masculinity and how men can actually speak up and open up a bit more. Interesting.
Not so sure I know any men that don't know how to speak up, but
well, speak up in a way that actually they share their emotional status, what's happening inside.
Yeah.
Because very easy to put a mask on. And he's also talking about how men actually suffer from depression. So it's not only women that could suffer from
That's
depression.
true. That's very true, there's loads of men, and you think, you just have this image of, a man's always strong, but they're not. And
That's what they're expected to be.
They're expected, and they've got insecurities and issues that they're struggling with all the time. And so I'm thinking, too, even if there's a lot of women that are reading this book, it will help them to understand the male psyche, the male side of things from having this fellow part of it. That's good to know. Yeah.
But all the people that are involved, I keep a dedicated page on my website. So if you like to find out more about the people, because I know I mentioned just a few names, but there are almost 40 contributors so far. So there's a number of them. Some of them are based in. We've got people from across the UK, but also people coming from Sweden, Canada, Denmark, France, Greece,
I was going to say.
Yes, the Netherlands. So there's a number of you that.
So if there's several people, then it's more than one person within a chapter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
So your chapter will have a certain title, and then you'll bring sort of complementary people to do with that theme of that chapter.
Yeah, within the interviews, so we actually, for example, we talked about prosperity or growth mindset. But within the interview, also we talked about how to be more in the flow of life. So I'm actually selecting the part that goes under the particular chapter, and then they also have the chance to be featured in another chapter, which makes it even more interesting for people that are involved with the book.
So you must be going through loads and loads of manuscripts right now, trying to narrow it all down, because it can be, obviously you can't have the whole interview in there. So
it's a selection process.
Yeah.
Yes. So once the transcripts are done, and Sue Brooks is helping me with that.
Yeah, Sue, I've met Sue, and she's working on that now,
yes.
Isn't she?
So once that we've got, I'm actually working on an ebook, which is going to be a complementary chapter out of the book. And that's going to go on as a bonus, as a gift, if you like, when you helping us with the crowdfunding as a pledge. Part of the pledge, we're going to get the ebook. So that will give you as well a little bit of a insight. You're going to start to smell, to feel, to connect with the book.
Get a little bit excited about it.
Yes.
Yeah. Talking about crowdfunding, what is crowdfunding? A lot of people, particularly in the arts, will use crowdfunding to raise money for their projects. So whether it be a musician or an author or an artist, because what happens is typically in those areas, you don't have a lot of working capital. It might be something that you're just getting going with. So you need some money to, in this case, we need some money to publish the book. And then so what crowdfunding is you put the idea out there. So in this case, your book, and then like-minded people who think this is of value to the community. So it's a way of giving back. It's a way of people donating to something that means something to
There's
them.
always something in return.
But there's something in return. So you do different levels of pledges. So I don't know if you've
We started
out
off with a £5 one, which
Yes.
is your name under the section, a thank you section in
Yes.
the book,
Okay.
which is in a way like you're part of the book
Yeah.
in this way, and then you move on to £10 and then £16, and then you can have the option to have the book as a paperback, or it could be a hard. Is it hardback we call it?
hardback. Yeah.
Yes. So there's, and then there's also something that I haven't seen in other crowdfunding campaigns. Just bringing in all, there's some of the people that featuring the book. Very generously, also they offer a pledge as a coaching session or as a therapy session. So when you go, for example, choosing a session with them or a therapy, there's always a 30% discount. So they offer, if you go on their website and they charge £50, always in the crowdfunding pledge you're going to get £30, 30%
30% off. Yeah.
So you bear that in mind. So actually, you as the supporter, you're actually getting something of good value, but also much cheaper than if you go and knock on their door and you actually go to their practice directly.
Right. Okay. So that's kind of fundamentally what crowdfunding is about. It's to help people get off the ground with their arts project. Really, I mean, people do it for loads of different reasons, but I'm just kind of focusing on the arts. So the book, the music, and the arts side of it. Usually very, very successful. So the only issue is getting the word out there that it exists.
Yeah, so that's important.
So that's what you're doing on Thursday. You are tomorrow. You are kind of, this is when you're starting to talk about it.
We have already talked about it within a number of people, but now we actually wanted to go even like viral if you like. We like to and even if you feel like, oh, I cannot buy a very expensive pledge, whatever £50 pledge, just whatever you're offering, it would be amazing, would be well received. And also when you see, if you know other people that could potentially be interested in a book like this, then just share it
on social media.
Share social media.
It's
or
so
even,
important.
Even as a text message, whatever you feel, so we are blessed. We live in 21st century, which is a blessing and not a blessing sometimes. We are blessed that we are in 21st century. We have so much available to us in terms of communication and spreading the news and spreading the messages and inspire each other. So let's use that. Let's use that because there's so much going on, as you said before, Sue. When you find something is of value to you, that will bring value to others, it will make a difference in the world. I will be really grateful, and I say that from the bottom of my heart, that you participate in spreading
the word,
the word out there.
Where can people find more information about it? On your website, your Facebook page. Can you just share those with us?
Sure. Well, first of all, on my website is www.chrisulasirigu.com. So Chrisula is like Chris, Oula, and then my surname Sirigu, SIRIGOU. .com. And then when you land on the home page, you see you can actually click on book. When you say book, and then that would take you to the Book of Soulful Musings, and then you find all about the vision of the book, the synopsis of the book, but equally the people that have actually contributed in the book. And there will be a link there with a crowdfunding campaign link.
Okay.
So you can click on that, and they will take you directly to where the video is. I don't think I have shown you that.
No, I haven't seen the video.
I've got a video about it.
Yeah.
Directly after that, there's a description with like the vision and mission and the purpose, with testimonials backing up the whole idea. And of course, on the right hand side, you got a number of pledges that you can choose and select and then pledge.
Well, if it starts out at £5, I mean that's really good.
But there's also, the other is like quite high,
Yeah.
high, that people can actually come as a VIP sort of person, and they can connect with all the contributors on the launch,
Yeah.
when we're launching the book. So
Yeah.
like would be something to, really of luxury as well.
Yes. So
Yeah.
as you say, it's as little or as much as you
Yeah.
can, but there's always something that you are going to get back
Yes.
for your pledge. So it's not just sort of dropping £5 in a bucket and you never know where that money is going. So and crowdfunding, you have to be very upfront about it, and you can report on how you're doing. It will show you once you start the campaign. You only have so many days from start to finish, and so it's all kind of
So
contributes.
it takes around
30
35 days.
days, yeah.
Five weeks approximately.
It all contributes to the buzz, though, doesn't it? And the excitement of what you're doing. So, and Facebook. What are you on Facebook?
Of course, I am there like Chrysula Sirigu, connect with me personally, but also I've got my business page, Explorama EU. That's what my business is called, Explorama, which is all about exploring.
Mm-hmm.
And the Twitter page is exactly the same as at Explorama EU. It's the same exactly that. And of course I'm on YouTube. I've got my own channel there.
Okay.
And
Well, we can all
Instagram,
find you.
You can find me different ways, but
We can find you from
Facebook
your
yeah.
website, really,
Yes,
right? We
absolutely.
can find you so that, because if it
Absolutely.
starts to get a bit confusing if people don't have their pens down, so let's just focus then on your
Well,
wesite,
if you
and
go
then
on
you
my
can
website, yes, you find all of that. All
Okay.
of these different.
just say
social-
that one more time. Then what your website is,
www.chrysulasirigou.com.
okay? And that's SIRIGOU, right? Okay. Good. So I wish you all the best with your crowdfunding campaign. I know that I will be, and Team Author will be, pushing your the support for your campaign. I know this is going to be a wonderful book, and it's really a celebration of all the things that you, as a woman, have been doing over the years, and so you can be very proud of this. And I know it's International Women's Day next week on the 8th of March, so I'm sure there'll be loads of things coming out from you, from your social media on that day, won't there?
Yes, absolutely. And within the book, I like to go back that there is a chapter dedicated to feminine essence and intuition,
Okay.
because that's what women we are naturally good at.
Yes.
And then we don't follow our gut instinct and intuition, then we fall into our little traps. And that's as a woman, you really need to cherish your inner muse, your inner voice.
Yes. The whole idea of International Women's Day, I think, is just wonderful, because it really helps us to celebrate who we are and what our unique talents are, how we're all different, but we all contribute to society, and it's just very
We
exciting.
have different hats on. We
Yeah.
are multi-talented.
We're definitely multitaskers. Yes, we definitely know how to multitask. Okay, well, is there anything else that you wanted to bring up specifically about the book? I mean, we know we can find you live on Redshift Radio on Thursday afternoons from 2 till 4.
Yes, but it's going to be a special radio show this Thursday.
Yeah.
With a few of the contributors coming at the studio as well.
Okay.
But also, there's also another page that I share on Facebook, which is a closed group, Life Inspiring Conversations with Chrysula. So if you like to be more involved with the whole idea of the book, but also connect with people, from all over the world that they're involved with holistic well-being educator, either because you are interested yourself, or you're an educator or a coach or involved with self-development in some way. So you're very welcome to ask to connect, and then I will allow that.
Okay, perfect. Loads of ways to connect with you, and that's the brilliance of this. We will look forward to the book in the spring. I said summer, but I did mean spring, because to be honest, in this country, spring and summer is just all one season to me. Being from Canada, we actually have 4 definite seasons, and I get a bit confused here, even though I've been here for 19 years. But
Still, we don't want to accept.
no. Yeah, it's just that you kind of get that spring in, but it's about new life, isn't it? That's what you want to, you know, I love the spring. My birthday's in the spring as well. And it's a beautiful time of year
Beautiful
because
time of the year.
you
And
see those, you know, those daffodils coming up and all those,
spring energy in Feng Shui, for those of you who are actually attracted to Feng Shui or you know a little bit about Feng Shui, is all about growth.
mm-hmm.
It's all about, you know, but then you see how nature speaks to us. You know, nature speaks to us through the flowers coming up, the leaves are
Yeah.
blossom, you know. So that's
The
and
sun,
book-
we have longer days, so the
Yeah,
sun is
sunlight, the
shining
light
and
is- yeah.
filling us up, isn't it? And I know that this book is going to fill. I'm very, very excited. Seriously, Chrysula, I'm very proud of you for this. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful book, and I will be behind you and supporting you all the way with this. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. And thank you
yes.
for your support as well, Sue.
And I will post information on the book and on Chrysula. I'll put her website on the Indie Author Show Facebook page. And as I said, you can listen again by going from Thursday till the next fortnightly live show will be on Callan FM. And then after that, you'll also be able to hear the SoundCloud on my YouTube channel, which is the Indie Author Show.